How's it going, guys? Welcome to the next shelf in my Blu-ray collection videos. This will be part two. We're going to start off with Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead. Don't need any introductions for this film. Awesome kind of benchmarking horror. Really just absolute insanity. I haven't got the second one yet. I will pick the second one up. I just haven't got around to it, but I think I prefer the second one to this. I think the second one's just got that kind of slight edge to it where Bruce Campbell goes absolutely doolally. I love that film. But that's Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. Next up we've got The Express, starring Dennis Quaid. It's the true story of American football star Ernie Davis as he battles against kind of racism and becomes the first African American to win the Heisman Trophy. Great if you're into your American football like I am. Next up, another Anthony Mann classic, The Fall of the Roman Empire, starring Stephen Boyd, James Mason, Sophia Loren. Great film again. Really kind of, I'm a massive fan of these big kind of epic productions. So that's like right up my alley. The Coen Brothers' Fargo with Frances McDormand. Great film. Watched this again recently and really enjoyed it. You know, kind of got Peter Stormare and Steve Buscemi in there as the hired goons. Hilarious combo. The Fighter with Wahlberg and Christian Bale. I know you shouldn't really kind of compare the two, but I always preferred this to Warrior. And I know they're kind of separate films in themselves, but they do kind of get compared quite a bit. But, you know, for the purposes of that, I did actually prefer that. Cronenberg's horror gloopy masterpiece, The Fly. Great film, this. Great if you kind of like your Cronenberg and your body horror. Jeff Goldblum turning into The Fly and with bits dropping off him all over the place. We've got McConaughey and Hudson in Fool's Gold. I mentioned in my previous video, my wife's a big Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey fan, unfortunately for me. It's like a kind of treasure hunt movie. It's not too bad. It's harmless. Next we've got Forbidden Planet with Leslie Nielsen and starring Robbie the Robot. Love these kind of 50s sci-fi films. That's one of my favourite eras for sci-fi, the kind of 50s with... you know, some of it can be quite kind of hokey and cheesy, but you know, Forbidden Planet, that's just a kind of masterpiece. Great little sci-fi film there. Next up we've got Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which I really enjoy this. Again, Russell Brand in there. You know, if you can be bothered to sit through his daftness, then you're going to enjoy it. But kind of introduced me to Mila Kunis, which was decent. Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks, great Zemeckis film. You know, this gets jumped on a little bit by some people for being maybe kind of a bit cheesy and a bit saccharine and kind of sentimental, but you know, it's one of those great feel good films. This really well done. You know, Hanks does a cracking job in that. Friday the 13th, the original, just you know, another horror masterpiece. The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. This is an early Peter Jackson film. Great film. Watching it again recently, the tone of it is so strange. It's very strange film. I watched it with my wife and she didn't quite know what to make of it, but great film. If you're into your kind of making of documentaries on this has got a making of that's, I think it's about 3 hours long. It's a colossal making of, and a great commentary as well from Peter Jackson. Next up we've got From Hell by the Hughes brothers. Now this, it is a great film, and I'm a big Johnny Depp fan, and you know, he does well in this, but God, Heather Graham has kind of had a kick in for her accent in this, and you know, watching this again to give her another chance, nah, that is very poor. It's it brings it into a bit of a kind of comedy realm with her accent in there. The Game Plan, starring The Rock. It's a, you know, kind of Disney film. You know, the Rock's daughter and him, much hilarity ensues. Gandhi, great film. I'm sure I read recently that this might have been the last film to have an intermission. You know, like where you kind of left the cinema to have a break halfway through. I'm not sure. You know, I'll have to read up on that again and, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, McConaughey and Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, a kind of adaptation of like a Christmas Carol kind of thing, I suppose. Not really for me. The Guns of Navarone, great film. You know, Peck and Quinn invading a Nazi fortress, awesome stuff. You know, again, I'm a big fan of kind of war films, and certainly you know, Gregory Peck as well. Halloween, Carpenter's original, you know, again, horror masterpiece, great movie. We'll just quickly skip over the Hannah Montana movie there. He's Just Not That Into You, kind of ensemble romantic comedy. I think I caught this in the cinema with my wife, and you know, she thinks it's fantastic. It wasn't too bad. Hellraiser, the first film, great film. I really need to start picking up the rest of these. I know they kind of lost the plot from, you know, from kind of here on inwards, but I really enjoyed the second one. The rest of them I don't really remember too much about. I've seen quite a lot of them. I know there must be, I don't know how many there is. There's a few. Hot Fuzz, great film. Peg and Frost in this. They're kind of follow up to Shaun of the Dead. This is the kind of Heroes slipcover range. I think that's from HMV, I think. I Love You Man, Paul Rudd and Jason Segel. That's actually, you know, that's a good film. Incredible Hulk, another one of these Heroes slipcovers. Definitely an improvement for me on Ang Lee's version, which wasn't too bad, but it was a bit too out there for me. Big Marvel fan and big Hulk fan, and this was kind of getting there. Not as good, I have to say, that Ruffalo's Hulk in the Avengers. I really enjoyed that. I would love to see a kind of some standalone stuff for that. I think he's rumoured to have signed some ginormous 6-picture deal or something for that. Christopher Nolan's Insomnia, starring Pacino and an excellent Robin Williams. Great kind of psychological thriller. It's actually a remake. I've never seen the original to this. I really should check it out. But yeah, Pacino does a great job in that. He makes me tired watching him in this. It makes me exhausted, but it's a great film. Iron Man, the first Iron Man, and Iron Man 2. Great. I love those films. You know, I've seen the first kind of pictures from the sequel, that Iron Man 3 they're doing. Big fan of those. I can't differentiate. I think I like them both equally. I know that people kind of say they like the first one is still the best, but I'm a big fan of them both. I like Mickey Rourke. Jason the Argonaut's my favourite Harryhausen film. This is a kind of film for me that it's one of the very first films I ever remember seeing. One of my first kind of film memories, if you like. I don't know if it is the first film I ever saw, but it's certainly, like, you know, I remember being very young and sitting down and watching this, quite possibly at Christmas or on a kind of a weekend on a Sunday afternoon. I've always loved it. You know, I've always thought it was a great film. Like they've done with Clash of the Titans. I don't like Clash of the Titans as much as this. And I didn't mind the remake. You know, I thought it was a kind of bit of a guilty pleasure as well. I really hope they leave this alone. I would never like to see a remake of this, because this has got that kind of magic for me that I don't want to see spoiled or diluted in any way. Jennifer's Body with Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried. Yeah, it could have been a lot better than this. You know, they're kind of selling it on Megan Fox there in a skimpy little outfit, but this could have been really dark and really good. But I think they sissied out of it a little bit. Yeah, I think that's a missed opportunity. Jumper from Doug Liman. I've really enjoyed this film. I've spoken in a kind of earlier video for Chris Blue 007's contest. You know, I'm one of the rare people who kind of really expected to see a sequel to this, and it never happened, which was a bit disappointing. But yeah, you know, it's a great film. I enjoy that. Peter Jackson's King Kong. Again, I really enjoyed this. I think this has got the extended edition on it, which I've never actually seen or sat through. I think you know, I think he did a really good job on this. I know it's a long film, you know, and it just seems to go on. But you know, I don't know how he kind of. I'm still, when I watch it now, I'm still not sure how he managed to stretch that out into the length that he does. But I mean, the special effects and everything. Andy Serkis again doing a great job. Looks great on Blu-ray as well. Night and Day with Cruz and Diaz again, which this is one of my guilty pleasures. Everybody seems to jump on this a little bit, but you know, it's good fun. I enjoy it. It's just, I don't think it takes itself too seriously. Layer Cake, Matthew Vaughn's film, starring Daniel Craig. You know, there's an absolutely shameless cover out there that are trying to riff on Craig as he's probably just been signed on to play Bond or just started to play Bond. That's really bad. The lovely Sienna Miller. Great film. I haven't seen it for a long while. I need to check it out again. The original Let the Right One In. You know, great film. I really enjoyed the remake as well. I thought that was, you know, I thought they did well. You know, I think the kind of story was certainly strong enough. They did a good job on the remake, but this is still the best for me. This has still got that real kind of creepy, dark, menacing air to it. Logan's Run, great kind of sci-fi classic, if you like, starring Michael York. You know, watching this back now, some of the special effects are absolutely god-awful on it. Certainly the kind of exterior shots of the city. You know, it's kind of like it makes Thunderbirds look state of the art. It looks really, really bad, but you know that it kind of adds to its charm. And you know, this has been rumoured for a remake for a long time. You know, I keep hearing about that, but you know, for a good cheesy time, you know, you can't beat that original one. The Losers. This was the film that came out around the kind of same time as things like The Expendables and The A-Team, I think, and this was probably one of my favourite ones. You know, again, real daft kind of throwback action film. Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was good. The Lost Boys, one of my kind of, again, childhood favourites. 80s vampire film with a young Kiefer Sutherland there. Yeah, that's, you know, I'm going to have to watch that again. Probably save that for a Halloween viewing or something. The Lovely Bones, again from Peter Jackson. Never ever read the book to this, and it was kind of a book that everybody was raving about. But you know, I enjoyed the film. Again, if you're into making of documentaries and behind the scenes things, there's literally like 3 hours plus of Peter Jackson as he films the entirety of his kind of like 15-week shoot, and you'd get to, you know, sit through it all. You know, comprehensive isn't the word. Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia, excellent ensemble piece. Very strange, you know. There's definitely some strange moments in that. But you know, it might not be for everybody. But I mean, look at that cast. That is a great cast, and obviously, you know, Cruise does an excellent job in that. But you know, Philip Seymour Hoffman, who I'm a fan of. You know, John C. Reilly, Julianne Moore, awesome cast in that. Man on Fire. I think I've just ordered the steelbook to this. I think the Play.com steelbook. Waiting for that to turn up. But great film. This is one of Denzel's best for me. You know, really sad in places as well, and you know, I kind of love him in this role. You know, he's hard. He's a hard bastard in this. Great film from Tony Scott. And finally, from this shelf is Monsters. It's the one with the lenticular cover. It's kind of like low budget post-alien invasion sci-fi film, and it's almost more of a love story than a sci-fi film. You know, it's about these kind of two characters and what they experience, you know, in the kind of aftermath of this invasion, if you like. And you know, the kind of monsters of the title are almost kind of like, you know, secondary to it. So, but yeah, it's, you know, it's a really, really good film. You know, definitely check that out if you haven't seen it already. That's Monsters. And that's it for that shelf. I will leave the next shelf for a separate video, just so you're not sat here for 20 minutes. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye bye.